There are many people who sit in church faithless and clueless. They don't really understand what's written in the Bible. So today I thought I'd share a few scriptures from the contemporary English version, which is said to be simpler. It's like a kiddie Bible. It says it can be heard without misunderstanding. But before I get to that, let's assume that I have an audience who would like to know why I'm making this video. Well, I grew up in this faith, in Christianity, and there are a lot of things that I saw and heard that I would like to share today. So now that we're all up to speed, I guess we can continue this video. I'll be reading the scriptures out, and I want to start with Romans chapter 14. Romans chapter 14, verse 1. Don't criticize others. It says, welcome all the Lord's followers, even those whose faith is weak. Don't criticize them for having beliefs that are different from yours. After all, God welcomes everyone. What right do you have to criticize someone else's servants? And Jesus goes on to say, well, why do you criticize other followers of the Lord? Why do you look down on them? The day is coming when God will judge all of us. See, now that's why people hate you. You either ignore what's in the Bible or twist it completely. People don't hate you because you're a Christian. People hate you because you don't behave like one. Usually people who claim to follow Christ are the worst and scummiest of all human beings. And they use Christianity as sort of a cover-up, as a sort of shield. I'll explain this further as we go along. They're great at pretending to be good people for a few hours on a Sunday morning with the rest of their liar friends. Getting all dressed up to impress and compete with each other. Showing off with material shit. In all my years of attending church, I've only seen well-dressed people. Now, I'm not saying that well-dressed people shouldn't be in church. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be there or that they don't need God. I'm saying where are the poor and the homeless? I know that certain churches will have, like, programs or whatever. But I'm saying, how many of you are helping people out of the goodness of your own hearts? And how many of you are doing it because you just feel compelled by the church to do so? I guess it's just easier to pretend to be a good person than to actually be a good person. I want to say please stop with all the religious posts and the endless preaching, because some of us can see you for what you are. Everybody has their good and their evil. You don't have to be a Christian to have a good heart, and you don't have a bad heart necessarily if you're not a Christian. Like I said before, people who claim to be followers of Christ are the worst. They're only pretending while not so secretly being perverted and horrible. And they're always judging and not treating others well. And you know what? They could be thinking the worst things about you. Things that you probably haven't even done. They have very twisted and salacious imaginations. And that's disgusting, but it is the truth. I guess that's why they're so hostile to people that are different. Because they suppress what's within themselves. They hate themselves. They hate that they have an image to maintain. They hate that they can't be free to be themselves. And I can say with confidence that this doesn't solely apply to religion. Like bullies. I think bullies are gay, which is completely fine. But because they don't think so, they tend to take it out on others by picking on the weaker child and think they're being super hilarious with all the weird and homoerotic antics, which is super obvious. And they should just come out already. It's okay to be gay. But I digress. When you go to church, you expect to be helped, to be led, to be guided. But how can you be when there are preachers out there who are misleading you and giving you the wrong messages? People judging you, but sometimes not with their words, but with the looks that they give you, for whatever reason. You know, I love how they're so quick to give you dirty looks. The sheer audacity to give you a dirty look while they're out doing worse things. When they're out of church, they're out there having affairs, getting divorced, getting remarried while their ex-spouses are still alive. You need to understand that nobody can live by the Bible 100%. So stop acting like you are above everybody else. And there are racists that sit in church, and you know, I'm not judging. I know that God welcomes everybody and He loves everybody. All I'm saying is that people should read and understand God's word if they want to preach it. People in church will do worse shit than the godless and the faithless. Or they do just as bad shit as the godless and the faithless, which is terrifying. I just find it ridiculous how some preachers, pastors, followers of Christ, and sit up there and condemn, hate, and humiliate others. for what they think is wrong. Which is a very normal thing to do, right? To hate someone. But I feel like there's some sort of conduct that you have to live by if you want to continue being a frantic, Bible-thumping moron. Which brings me to my next couple of scriptures. Okay, Matthew chapter 7, and judging others. Jesus said, "Don't condemn others, and God won't condemn you. God will be as hard on you as you are on others. He will treat you exactly as you treat them. You can see the speck in your friend's eye, but you don't notice the log in your own eye." And Jesus chooses Matthew. And okay, this is basically, Jesus was dining with basically many tax collectors and other sinners were also there. So someone asked, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and other sinners?" Jesus heard them and answered, blah, 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 right? But the main one is, "Go and learn what the scriptures mean when they say, 'Instead of offering sacrifices to me, I want you to be merciful to others.' I didn't come to invite good people to be my followers. I came to invite sinners." Next is John. Finding John. Chapter 3, verse 17. Oh, shit! God did not send his Son into the world to condemn its people. He sent him to save them. And John chapter 8. A woman couldn't sin. Basically, this woman was with a man who was not her husband. And Jesus says, and she was to be stoned, right? So this is a long story, so like I said, everything will be in the description, right? So Jesus said, "If any of you have ever sinned, then go ahead and throw the first stone at her." So one by one they started to leave, because who can say that they are? And Jesus stood up and asked her, "Where is everyone? Isn't there anyone left to accuse you?" "No, sir," the woman answered. Then Jesus told her, "I am not going to accuse you either. You may go now, but don't sin anymore." See, God should have given you enough wisdom to understand his word. God should have given you enough wisdom to know how to get through to people and to actually help them instead of vilifying and embarrassing them in front of others. You make these people feel bad for being human, bad for being themselves, pushing them further away from Christ because of your misconception. Remember that scene from Life of Brian?
"Saw those who hunger, and I think it was blessed are the cheesemakers." Hear that? Blessed are the Greek. The Greek. Well, apparently he's going to inherit the earth. Did anyone catch his name?
See, that's what Christianity has become. Chinese whispers. A bunch of clueless morons trying to lead others with the wrong information. It's nauseating to watch you tell them to change who they are, or else God won't love them, or that they're going to burn. Remember Proverbs chapter 20. Can any of us really say, "My thoughts are pure and my sins are gone"? I'm guessing not. You, as a person of God, as a person of Christ, should understand what you read in the Bible before you open your mouth and twist everything while preaching it, pastor or not. Some of these people are just so wrong, and they have a following, which again is just... Understand that preachers, pastors, and ministers are people just like you and I. And it's even written in the Bible that you have the same power in you, inside of you, to pray for yourself, to heal yourself, to prophesy over your own life. That the power of life and death are in your tongue. I know that it's written that people need to attend church to sort of mingle with that crowd. I just don't think that it's worth it, because there's not a single place on this earth where a human being can cease to be their toxic self. Personally, I don't feel that people need to go to church, because it's not a place where spiritual people go, but that's just what I believe. And it's even written that your body is the temple, so whatever that means. Now, I'm not saying that you should stop going to church. I know that there are some great pastors out there, and there's some great people in the church. You can't really paint everybody with the same brush. I'm just saying that you shouldn't follow blindly or deafly, and you should use some common sense, which I don't think is a sin. You don't have to agree with everything. People who don't even have the skills will be given these huge positions of power And people will just agree with insanely dumb shit. You don't have to be intelligent to do anything these days. Even to read or write books, because dumb people do it too. And it's scary that they have a platform to influence other shitheads. And they say kids are impressionable, but adults are the worst. They're the fucking worst. I believe in do what thou wilt, right? You can believe in anything that you want to believe in. If you want to believe in God, if you want to go to church, do so for you. And it's supposed to be between you and your God anyway. You know, it's supposed to be a relationship with you and your God. You know, Christianity is said to not just be a religion, but to be a lifestyle. So don't go to church to impress others. And you're not even going to church to impress God. He knows who you are. He knows what you are. I always found it funny when people would say, don't lie to God, because I didn't think that was possible. But it turns out that people actually think they can do that. So that's... Which brings me to my next point. I wanted to talk about appearance. Now, when I used to go to church looking the way that I do, well, it's kind of toned down now, right now. I used to get looks, understandably so. Although it's not a quotation, an actual quotation in the Bible, the overall message of Jesus is to come as you are. Even he says when you're praying, you don't need to use big fancy words. You just come as you are, right? So I didn't feel the need to dress differently and pretend like everyone else. If I were to dress differently and take off all of this, should I scrub the pigment off my skin as well? Because you're basically telling me not to be myself. You're basically telling me not to be who I am, which God already knows. You know, certain people had a problem. When I used to attend church, certain people had a problem with it, and they let me know. Their intentions were good. You know, I'm not saying that they were bad people. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, it's kind of the wrong message. Like I said before, you know, you're pushing people further away from Christ when you tell them that they can't really be who they are. Now, I'm not completely ridiculous. I never wore these things to church. But apparently they're just as demonic as the music I like to listen to and the horror movies that I like to watch. And I used to wear these bangles, which I'm going to put on the screen. I don't wear them anymore, but I used to wear them a lot when I was younger. And I was just told to stop liking everything that I like and get rid of it. Get rid of everything that made me who I am. Everything that made me, me. Which I couldn't do. I didn't do, I will never do for anyone or anything. So rather than do that, it's awful to hear when people say that. But rather than do that, I just left the church. Everybody is supposed to be welcome in the house of the Lord. But people are out here making their own fucking rules. And if he made us all unique, why are you offended? You have to understand that it's not really disrespecting the church or disrespecting God going to church looking a little gothy. It's more about respecting their feelings towards people who are a bit different. Because God forbid they open their minds. If we're all his children and we're all wonderfully made, why am I not allowed to be myself? I thought God judges us by our hearts. The beliefs and ideas that they want to shove down other people's throats, right? Because they believe that they're doing God's work, will have you believing all sorts of crazy shit. So be careful. There's a lot of misconstruing, misunderstanding, misleading, and misinforming. In case you didn't know, people are aware of who God is. They don't need you to tell them. And what types of messages are you spreading anyway? Hatred, intolerance, ignorance. Very un-Jesus.
God save us from half the people who think they're doing God's work.
Everyone has free will, which God gave them. It is none of your business what other people do, what other people believe. And when you are out there trying to control others through religion or anything else, all it tells me is that you are repressed and insecure, and it's deafening. And once again, some of us know what you are, and you are the only one sitting in your lives. And you are a problem. Not so much God in general. Just his people are a problem. And I'll explain why. And this also goes beyond religion. You know, it's also like fandom. When people take things a bit too far. Like certain fans of things, they'll take things too far. Like certain metal fans. How can I put this?
He said she was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed virgin, and they were offering her as a sacrifice to the devil. The boys were part of a death metal band and thought that Satan could make their music better. Casey said it was an idea they'd gotten from Altar of Sacrifice, a song by the heavy metal band Slayer.
Like I said, I'm going to explain. So let's talk about those followers of God. The ones that use religion or Christianity as sort of an alibi. They'll become pastors, preachers, and other things in the world to abuse their power and feed their disgusting urges and prey on the weak. They know that people who are vulnerable and desperate will turn to God, looking for direction, looking for guidance, so on and so forth. These monsters will prey on people who are lost and hurt and looking for direction. They take advantage of them the first chance they get. Then you'll hear stupid shit like, oh, I thought he was a man of God, or oh, this is the work of the devil. Like I said before, we all have our good and our evil. Being humans, mostly evil. Being humans, we have a lot of evil. You cannot blame the devil, just like how you can't blame God when someone does something outrageous in their names. Everyone wants someone or something to blame in the world. It's not God's fault, it's not the devil's fault. Take some fucking responsibility for your actions. And these people probably don't even believe in God. They probably don't even believe in the devil. We are all garbage. At the end of the day, not one person can sit there and say that they are better than another. Some people are just bigger pieces of shit than others. And there are those few who are actually way too precious to even be on this earth with the rest of us. And that's why I guess God says that he takes them early. Another problem I have is I'm tired of Christians referring to Lucifer as an enemy, or the enemy. He is not. Lucifer is Venus. Lucifer is the light bringer. Lucifer is the morning star, the shining one, God's favorite angel. How could he possibly be evil or look it? How could he be a beast? He's ugly because he rebelled? Please don't sit there and blame your natural, disgusting human things on him. Don't blame your vile behaviors on Lucifer. Don't blame your vile behaviors on him. Humans are evil. Humans themselves are evil. And they always have been, and they always will be. You may be wondering why I'm on both sides. Well, when I was younger, I used to pray to both Lucifer and God. I've always held Luciferian beliefs, even when I didn't know it at the time. And while writing all of this, I really did lose myself in thinking about all of it. I could just be confused, or I could be too open-minded, or whatever. But I hope that I have made sense to you all so far, assuming I have an audience. I feel like my life would have been so much easier had I just chosen to be an atheist. There are so many ideas and entities and things that come from the human imagination. Like God could even be a tulpa. Who knows? There have been so many debates as to what Jesus even looks like. And how do you know for sure what the devil looks like? I mean, yeah, it's cool, but how do you know for sure what he looks like? In my opinion, in the Bible, Lucifer is just the scapegoat. Okay, now I'm almost done, and my final scripture comes from the first book of Corinthians, which I think is the main message in the Bible. It's the main message of Jesus, because God was God is brutal, and Jesus was the one who came with sort of peace, love kind of messages, right? Right. So Jesus' main message was faith, hope, and love, the greatest being love. Which is funny because that is the greatest thing missing not just in church but in the world. I was watching a video the other day of my favorite TJ Cook, the amazing atheist, which I will.
Right? Why did he say, well, I'm not afraid of coming back as whatever scummy, person who's born in like the worst part of India in some dirty slum or something, or coming back as some...
I'm Indian and this pastor is a total dickhead. Not actually offended. Just saying. People are allowed to be atheists. In referring to myself here, people are allowed to be a little confused. How do you know who's going to hell and who isn't? And once again, if God judges us by our hearts, as stated, Jeremiah chapter 17. But I know your deeds and your thoughts, and I will make sure you get what you deserve. So, how do you know God won't ask us to accept him at the gates? I know it sounds far-fetched, but how do you know it's not a thing? Because it's written? Well, you know, a lot of things are written that you people don't abide by. You choose what you want to obey, which is fine, you know. Like I said, nobody can live by the Bible 100%. I'm just saying, and as a logical person, you can't agree with everything that's in the Bible. And you might say, well, oh, if you're so logical, how come you even believe in it at all? Well, shut up. Whatever. All I'm saying is I wish you would extend the same courtesy to others. As long as you're alive, you can't really know for sure what happens after you die. And probably there'll be some asshole in the comments that tells me otherwise. I'm talking about in a sort of spiritual realm or spiritual way. And there could be an afterlife. God could have a place for you in heaven. Or you could just die and have nothing to look forward to, which is something that I would love, because I don't want to be existing in a heaven or a hell. When I die, I want to be dead. I feel like life never ends, and if you're going to be restless in the physical world, you will be in the spiritual world, which means I'm fucked, right? So, like I said, when I die, I just want to be dead and finally left alone. Right, but let's move on. I just want to say that people should stop condemning others so harshly. There's no room for any of us to judge anyone. And I'm almost done, but one last observation is that nobody wants to accept others' differences.
Sitting bitch, getting away.
Nobody wants to be open-minded. Nobody wants to accept others' differences. They all want to prove each other wrong. They want to be with people who hold the same beliefs as they do. How freaking boring is that? If people want to be atheists, or if they want to be Christians, or whatever the hell they want to be, it's none of your business. Some people are just the fucking worst, and they don't understand. And they don't know how to mind their own business, and they don't know how to live their own lives. They are so hell-bent on controlling others, which something that I can't stand. But like I said, some people are just the fucking worst. I cannot comment. If you're wondering which side I'm on, am I Christian, am I atheist, am I agnostic? I'm not any of those things. I mean, I follow Lucifer. I have Luciferian beliefs, but it's not a religion, it's just a belief system. But as far as following and praying and stuff like that, I don't do any of that. I don't believe in it. I don't know what I am. But I'm sure people will assume that I was agnostic after watching this. I just don't believe in labels, okay? I don't live my life like that. I believe what I believe, and that's it. I call myself a nihilist, or I'll call myself Luciferian, but in reality, it's just those are just my beliefs, but I really don't label myself as anything. I'm just free like that. It's about time that I wrapped up. I really enjoyed making this video, and I hope that whoever watches it enjoys it too. I had a lot of fun reading from the Bible. This is actually a remake of my recently deleted Church is an Exhibition video, which I wasn't too happy with, at least not 100% happy with. But once again, I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Bye.
You're not fooling me, man. You might fool the fox, but you don't fool Jesus. It's Bush League psycho stuff. Laughable, man.
Hope that was good.
And you're walking around with your mouth shut.